All right, happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to your daily lighting critique. One quick announcement off the top. So tomorrow it was announced by Diana and Forrest they're going to be doing a peer-led lighting critique. I unfortunately have to have another dental procedure tomorrow, which has been going on for a while, but I have to do that one more time. And so I will be out of commission for the day tomorrow, but they're going to run a student-led session, which is going to be great because the last one was great, and that's just what they do. their eyes are fantastic, and I remember watching and being like, "Oh, this is better than my critique. This is great." Like I'm just going to let that. I should let them do this more often. So for starters today, I did want to start with Cora and Justin. There to welcome them to the group. This is both of their first submissions. Cora, this is really cool. Like it's a really interesting abstract piece. Like it's interesting because I mean obviously it's some sort of liquid, but I don't know if it's water. It feels thicker, almost like oil. But it's just like you were talking about these bandings and these light to dark fall offs. It's just like a really, really great value study in something, right? It's just really beautiful and really subtle. Can you talk about this image a little bit and why you chose it?
Yeah, so this is actually an orca coming up right under the water surface.
Oh wow.
And it's shot by a photographer, Paul Nicklin, who shoots wildlife basically. This was part of his fine art collection, and I just love the shot because it's lacking color, but still it doesn't need color. I feel like just the way the light is shaping the whole image is I liked it a lot. So yeah.
In the classes and in photography, there's a what's called the zone system. It's like an Ansel Adams thing, and it's basically just like a 1 to 10 grayscale value where it's like you try and hit like all 10 shades from like very deep darks to bright whites. And this image does that so beautifully. Like you can like pinpoint, because of that banding, you can pinpoint like the different values and be like, oh, that's, like this stuff is the rich darks, and then like there's some areas in here that are like dark but a little bit lifted, and then here. It's really cool how you can like pinpoint all that stuff. It's really nice. But yeah, this is a gorgeous image.
Glad you like it.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing. And Justin, you got a good one too. So this was from Drive, and this film, like this movie, has so many like really stunning, dramatic images in it, and like you did a really great job talking about how he's, like all the lights on his front side, and he's like really like able to look out, and there's like more adventure and danger ahead of him. I thought this was nice the way they kind of let all this darkness occur behind him. And really, if you follow the light around, it's really nice because it like kind of comes in here and it wraps, like it just kind of creates like this circular thing that kind of just happens right in here, and it's just really, really nice overall, and good color balance between the warm tones in the central area and the cool tones all around. He's got a little perfect little eye ding in there, got light scraping across his face, so this is really great. Was there anything else about this image that really drew you to it?
Really the whole film. That's what I really like, this challenge of like looking at one image, because I know that I love, Drive. I love that film. I love that cinematography. But then like to go look at one image, I'm like, wow, like I've never actually done that. And I was like, that's pretty good to do that from a film, to see like how much goes into just one shot.
Yeah, if you get a chance, I'm hoping to do some lessons on this, but listen to the Roger Deakins podcast if you haven't. Like start at the beginning, the first few episodes, and they talk about a lot about their process of staging shots and how long it takes. And it's like it really is on films with the budget and that artistic direction. It really is like a how do I say this? It really is a like every shot, every frame is really like thought through, and it's really like a masterpiece each time. I know we focus on that for animated films, which is one of the reasons why we do this challenge. Because like everything is like crafted in that shot, but like for feature films too, everything is thought through. Every composition, light value, all that stuff is thought through on every shot, and this film really demonstrates that. So that's really great. All right, cool. Well, of course, welcome to the group, Cora and Justin. It's great to have you both here. Let's see. Let's jump into. We have a couple of images from the current lighting challenge. We'll go into those. I thought see, there was Jeff and Vanessa had a couple. And one of the things I brought up yesterday was just talking about, I pulled in this image of her skin, and I thought this was a really nice like balance between like that dark, rich skin tone and specular value. So I just want to, and again, this isn't perfect. It's not like you definitely have to do it this way. I just thought this was like a good reference into some of those values to kind of talk through that. So, so Jeff, you're in a similar like dark skin tone. It's looking really nice. I think this upper light bounce is really good. I just think that the skin tone itself feels a little bit like a little bit clay, a little bit like dusty, and I think that we can get more of like this level of specular highlight. It's not even specular highlight. It's more like reflection of the surrounding elements in it. So sometimes it's going to be not about light hitting the character as much as it is about having maybe even like a plane off camera that is reflecting in the skin. You know what I mean? Like a pure white plane off to the side, just kind of creating that in. Like you've got some good values in here. It's just coming across over the top of the head and then like a little bit in this side as well. I think the shaping on the character is really good. The one thing about, and I pulled in a reference for this, there actually should be more, but I grabbed a reference. So like, I get what you're saying about this bounce causing this one to be a little bit brighter. But I was looking through some reference, and there definitely is like variation between them. It's just not going to be that big of a difference between these two. So it's okay if these are a little bit darker than this one, but like this level of fall off just doesn't quite feel right. So I would say if the renderer isn't giving you what you need there, I almost wonder if it's worth boosting the light value overall and then just adding a little light blocker in here to kind of block that off, and kind of get those to fall into alignment a little bit more.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then the one thing you want to watch out for with these eye dings is it's totally fine to put one down below. Like it's not the norm, but it certainly is doable. The one thing you don't want to do is mix them between the two. So you can either put them both like in the same quadrant, or it's just like mixing them up. It makes them look a little bit cross-eyed in that capacity. But everything else is, and I'll open this up. Oh, you got a little lens flare on there. That's nice. Coming across here. I think you can probably even add a little bit more light wash up here to the screen left side. Just over on the background. I don't know why my computer's being so jittery today, but yeah, I think that might do you some good too. Does anybody else see anything?
Question: Is she a hero or a villain? Because because of the bottom lighting, it's I look at her and I see villain, but the background is very like hero lighting and it's very warm and fun. So it's just confusing me a bit.
Maybe she's a double agent.
Hey, that works.
Yeah, it's actually like it's interesting because the underlight is kind of villainous, but it is so warm. It's almost like embracing her. Like it's not like that harsh underlighting. So I think the other thing I was going to point out too. So with these broad, like with the neon being so big on her hand, like on her glove, I'm wondering if there's a way to get a little like make it a little brighter towards the center, or if there's like a way to kind of vary that up, because they start to look a little bit graphic, like just kind of solid color shapes. And I'm wondering if there's a way to perhaps add some more variation in there. But we can mess around with that too. Yeah. Yeah, no, overall I think it's looking pretty good. Does anybody else have anything before we move on? All right, so Vanessa. Yeah, so this is the same deal with this. Like I think your reflections are coming in a lot better over on the top here. I think that's looking really good. I don't think that you necessarily need to go like as dark as this, but I would like to see your skin tone come down a little bit in the diffuse, a little bit stronger than that. And because I really do think that you have some beautiful lighting going on in there, and it would be really nice. And by darkening the skin tone, it'll actually make that read a little bit stronger. So it's just a matter of going into the shader a little bit and pulling that down. But in terms of the rest of her garment, I think the shaping is shaping up really well, and everything's looking everything's looking really good. Yeah, looking close. I also wonder. Actually, I'll move this here. Yeah, I guess this way her. I was just questioning her eyelashes, and I was making sure that that's how we designed it, and that is. I forgot to look at her eyelashes before we released this, but that's totally good. Let's see. Does anybody else have any comments? Anybody else seeing anything?
Now I think I'm curious about the earrings and maybe the texture on it. It looks like maybe it's a base texture right now. I think it might be interesting to get something like the gold hair thingies under, her face. Something more subtle.
Totally.
Probably.
And that's like a curse of making one part of it look really, really good, is you want all those little elements to do that.
I know.
Yeah.
I just want that. Yeah.
Like the ones here?
Yeah.
I remember here.
Yeah,
Okay.
these here.
Okay, let me.
Yeah, just take a look.
So, thank you so much.
Yeah, and then just watch out for
Yeah.
this stuff like right up around the top of her head. It's just like this little that little bright patch is just like kind of creeping up over top, and so you might just want to
Very distant.
yeah, just trim that down.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking. I think I've been being lazy and trying to avoid like learning too much about materials in katana, but I think that's what I need to do. So I'm feeling like it lacks subsurface skin, so I've been trying to make up for it. And I think that's what's happening. So it's maybe lazy, but I will.
And I should say, for anybody who's working in katana for the first time that's able to get it to like this level this quickly, it's a huge accomplishment, right? Like I'm giving some really nitpicky notes, but like the fact that you were able to get up to speed and up and running on the software this quickly is pretty remarkable. So don't let my nitpicky notes get you down. You're doing really, really well.
Thank you for your time.
I second that. It's hard. Katana's hard.
Yeah,
this is really pretty.
Yeah, I've got it open on my machine now, and I've had because of the craziness the last couple of weeks, I haven't had a chance to play around with it. And I'm like, you guys are way past me at this point, so you guys are killing it. Very good job. All right, cool. So let's see, so we'll go Dani next. Okay, so I like the subtle elements coming in on the side of the room and kind of starting to like. It's nice to see them like pop in here. I think this makes a really big difference. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at this one. I'm wondering, two things. One thing that stood out to me when I pulled this up is just the scale of the bump on the wall here feels very big. I would just like, it also feels very deep. So I would decrease it in both directions, both the depth of it and the size of it. And then the other thing I'm wondering is, because I'm wondering if there's a way of introducing more cool light into the scene, more like the moonlight kind of a thing. And this could be like, and tell me if this is not what your direction is that you want to go. But I was thinking of like, because we see a little bit of it coming in through the window here, and I'm wondering if we couldn't play this up as being like cool light entering the space to really kind of get a full understanding of like the candles are the thing that are driving all the warm light and the fire as well.
My problem with that is I was trying to imagine what type of light would you have coming down the stairs, and the only one I could think of is fire because that fits.
Yeah. No, that's fair. It's
so moonlight I can definitely see, but I need to make up a reason for it to be a cooler light.
Yeah.
Just be open or something.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, like it could be stairs that lead outside. You could play it as moonlight coming in that way. It's just a little tricky because then like it'll just change the lighting over here because it's gotta go one way or the other, you know.
Yeah.
That's super slow. All right. I'll start with you to see if you have the bat here on the wall. That's her Desmodus rotundus. I just saw that.
And Evans on the right side in the picture.
Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, it's like the whole crew's there. So let me open it up to you. Let me so it looks like, because we talked about switching it out where the candle light is different than the light being thrown from the candle is different than the light source making the candle look like a candle, and I think that's actually working out pretty well. How are you feeling? Like, how are things going? I'll open it up to you.
It was. You can see from the first one what I was doing actually with the candles, and this one I just did a fill to light up the entire room.
Mm-hmm.
And I did and I put another spec for the jars and the swords, but I'm gonna push that a bit more. But it's good because also with this I could push maybe cooler tones in the fill light.
Yeah, maybe just to get that balance a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll open it up. Diana, or anybody else? What do you guys think?
I have one comment about the candles. The ones in the middle or to the top look a lot brighter than the ones to the side. I don't know if that makes sense or that's yeah.
Yeah.
It looks a bit unnatural, the difference.
Yeah, are you talking about these up here on the chandelier?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that. I think turning those down a little bit.
I'll fix that.
Yeah, it's also like something else that's gonna be tricky. Like there is a good amount of noise in this right now, like fireflies, and it's totally fine for like a work in progress. But I do feel like it is, it is a little distracting to look at to try and like analyze the color of it, because we do have like these brighter like things. So if we can maybe overnight tonight. Try and up the samples a little bit, or just clean that up a little bit, so that in the morning we can see a little bit of a larger image.
Okay.
And I think we can go from there. All right. Anybody else before we move on? All right. So let's see. Jeff, Justin, Vanessa.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Let's see. Jeff, we did. Vanessa, we did. Is there anybody else active that's on here right now that we haven't done yet? Because then I'll do Aaron, Emma, and we also have one. Actually, let me do a video first. This was from Holly. Pull this one up just because this was pretty quick. So she did a little breakdown here, and the one thing I just like, there were a couple things about it. Yeah, like I just thought, like, usually when there's a breakdown, you tend to, it's just more like you tend to just see more than this. So I would like to see it combined with like a lighting breakdown where it's just like, you almost start with like no lights, and then you add, you can do it a couple different ways. Like you can just do the lights on the characters to get to this point, like do the key light, then do a fill light, then like turn on. It doesn't necessarily need to be every single light, but just like step through maybe 4 or 5 times. To show all the light placement. So it'd be like a key light, a fill light, maybe a bounce light, and a rim light. Then you can add in the reflections on the window, and then add in the outside, and then I would do like whatever final color tweaks that you did to this as another pass too. It's just that within 3 steps like this, there's just not enough there to really tell the story. And you were talking about like the speed of it. I actually think the speed is probably okay. Like it looks like we could go through about a second here to get to the first one, and then actually the second one kind of comes down a little bit faster. So I would just make sure that those are right. So it's those are the same. So it goes from frame 1 to frame 24 like that. Then frame 25, this pops on, and then it goes to there, and then it gets. So it's just a matter of like, it's okay if the tails of it, like having everything built together, lasts like another beat longer, like twice as long as everything else, but the rest of those cuts should feel the same duration of time. All right. Close that. Okay. Now let's take a look at Aaron's. So this is the attic scene. So this is the first time I've seen, maybe not the first time, but usually the default color of the walls in this scene are very warm. And so seeing it with all this green light is actually pretty cool, because what's happening is Aaron's doing a good job of getting the light in here, hitting the ground, bouncing up, and there's also like this secondary bounce of all this green into everything, which really changes the feel of the room. Like it's definitely It's definitely really, really, it's unique. The couple things that I would do a little differently is I think you could go even a little bit brighter on what's going on outside the window here. I think that the light rays can actually get brighter around the window itself too. And I would. So the fact that like these are cool light rays and warm light rays, you don't normally like they would either be the same color or not at all. So I would either make these back here a little bit warmer to match this, or just I would actually just kind of pull them down and just make that more glowy overall without a directionality to it, and then just like pushing these to be like the main light rays coming in the scene. Because like the angle that the light would have to come in at for that ray to go down just doesn't quite feel right. But you're doing a great job with some of the what we call the vertical shaping by like really feeling that it's brighter down here than up here. Yeah, I think everything else is working out pretty well. Let's see, does anybody else have any comments on this one before we move on?
I just want to say I like the green too.
Yeah, right?
And I think I tried it with the scene to change the colors, but I just tweaked it to like a brown from the red because I couldn't get it to, look this nice. But yeah, this somehow, all the green bounce light I think is working
For sure.
in a unique way.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, like, I said it like, oh, that was a great idea to switch it to green, and it's more than that, right? Like, I think if you just did that, I think you really made a tough challenge for yourself. Oh, Aaron, you're here.
Oh yeah.
Hey, how's it going? Well, so I can tell you, you're doing a great job. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
No
I
problem.
appreciate it.
Is there any questions you have? Anything specific you'd like us to look at?
Honestly, yeah, you were pretty spot on as far as like the light ray from the window up top. And by glow, you mean kind of glowy wrap light, right?
Yeah, so it'd be more like, let me just mock it in here. Like I said, I don't know why my computer's being a little jittery today, but it would be more like, let's see, how do I do this? Yeah, we'll blur it a little bit, and then we'll just do it this way. And then we'll screen this back on. And so now, instead of it, so it's like, instead of it being, just take off some of those images, those edges. So instead of it being like directional, it's just like, it's a lens artifact. Is that right? Like a lens abstraction. So it's like, like it's very, very bright for this lens and this camera that's exposed there. And it just like, it blooms a little bit in the bright values in the camera. It's just like a photo abnormality thing that happens, but it looks really, really pretty. And so I think just blooming it up a little bit like that would be really good. And you can do the same thing on this window too.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that's something you probably in the compositing course, correct?
Yeah. If not there, look at the lighting for animation class, the interior, the compositing on the interior scene. I would definitely do that on the windows. But I think, yeah, I do diffusion a lot, and I'm assuming that I put it in the compositing class too. It's like, I've been called out for doing it too much, but it's few and far between. Usually people like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm about, I wouldn't say halfway, but about a little less than half, so I probably haven't even hit it yet. So yeah, thank you for that suggestion.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a real, like, you've really, I mean, just by changing the wall color and doing it so successfully, like, you've really changed the whole feel of this room. And like, we did a whole lighting challenge on this, and it's a unique take on it. So really great job. And then,
yeah, thanks. It was my favorite asset.
Yeah, listen, those guys, Alex and was it Jeremy, did a really beautiful job designing this, and it just naturally, yeah, it's a fun scene to work with because it looks pretty good right out of the gate, and then if you're able to keep working it can be, yeah, you're doing a great job. Okay, so I do want to hop over into I think just Emma's is left. Yeah, and this was actually and I was excited to talk about this, and of course Diana jumped in and answered it perfectly, before I was like, you did a great job, and your answer was totally right. So basically, the thing that Emma was struggling with was she was having the light was coming in the window, and it was just like she felt like it was just too broad, and she wanted it to narrow in a little bit on the green. And she was saying, like, listen, this is where my light's positioned. I've messed with the penumbra angle. I've dusted the core and the edge. And here are my settings. I can't get it to do it. And the biggest thing that you want to do is you just want to take this light and just push it away, right? You want to pull it further away because, like, you can even play around with it, like on your desktop. If you have a flashlight or something, just have an object here, keep the light close, and you can see that the shadow splays out wider, and then as you pull that light source away, it'll actually start to narrow in. So it doesn't always feel like the actual position of the light matters that much, but it really does in terms of the shadow placement. So the further back a light source is, the more parallel the shadows will become. So that was a really good call by Diana there. So thank you for that.
Okay.
No, you're good. Oh, and last thing, I did want to hop in on this. Let me see if I've. Who's it? Andre, I think, was asking about. Let's see, there we go. Was asking about the shadow, like the shadow mat on an Arnold thing, on an Arnold render, and I was playing around with it, and I did want to just point this out to you guys if you want to stick around for this too. I'll even do it on a new scene. So basically, all I did was. Created a plane, created a sphere. This is like always my default whenever I'm like just trying to get something off the ground and making sure that something works. And then I create Arnold, just like a little area light. And the reason why I don't do it as like a Maya light is this sounds stupid, but like I try and eliminate all the weird things that could go wrong. And I always think that like using a native Arnold light will actually be a little bit better. And again, the thing that he was struggling with was just getting the shadow mat AOV to work and seeing how that's done. So let's see. I'm just going to go ahead and assign a new material, just like a default Arnold surface shader, and just make it a slight color to make sure that it's working a little bit. And then we'll go ahead, render this out. And we'll have to increase the light exposure, as always. Let's see. There we go. Take this down. Okay, so now we have like a basic scene, simple light in there. And in order to make sure that the shadow mat is working, there's two things that we can do. Number one is just to go into the Arnold settings and go to the AOVs. Make sure the shadow mat is activated. There it is. Load it up. All right, and then we can refresh this render. And if we take a look at inside the beauty, inside the shadow mat, you can see that it's now casting the shadow in there. The other thing that you can test too is instead of having the AI standard shader on it, you can add we can swap it out with a shader that's specifically built to be a shadow catcher. If you wanted to, like if for whatever reason the AOV isn't working, you could take your scene, save it out as another file, add this shadow mat to everything. And now when we re-render it, you won't, I'm trying to think, you won't see anything here, but what you will see is in the alpha channel, you'll see the shadow as well. So there are two ways to get a shadow mat, at least two ways. I'm sure there's more that I used in order to get a shadow mat in Arnold. It's either to do it through the AOV or to save as a separate file and then just run those lights with a shadow mat on everything. So I did want to show that because I know that was an issue that just came up as well. So let me go ahead and hop back over here and I'll stop sharing my screen a little bit. And I will, there we go. And let me just go ahead and open it up. And is there anything else you guys wanted to discuss today before? There we go, stop streaming. Oh, it went well. Thank you for asking. Is there anything else you guys have any questions about today before moving on? All right.
No?
All right, great. You guys are great. All right. Thank you all for being amazing always. And again, thank you, Diana, and thank you, Forrest, for doing the peer-led critique tomorrow. Just send over the video. I'll get it posted to YouTube with my swollen mouth and inability to talk, and then I will make sure to do that. But seriously, you guys are amazing. Keep going. Keep lighting stuff. It's inspiring every single day, and I love it. It's my favorite part of the day. So
Yes, everybody, come tomorrow, please.
they're really, really good, and
Please
they're
come. No,
yeah.
no. I just want to meet more people. Please come.
She's being modest. They're very good. All right. I will talk to you guys all very soon. All right.
Have fun with the dentist.
Thank you. I love the dentist. It's my favorite thing. You guys are my favorite thing. That's my second favorite thing to do is to go to the dentist. All right. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.